Wrap up everything. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Everything Apple Pro here. Got some exclusives with Max Weinbach on the iPhone 13 Pro, or the entire lineup. This is our third year working together, and actually very excited to bring some new information to the table. Also wanted to wrap up everything else out there from all other sources. There's a huge influx of iPhone 13 stuff this year, and as John Prosser said, and again reiterates, it's because we're in a pandemic. Apple can't actually control the flow of information, leaks like they usually would within their facilities. Everyone's working at home, so this year might actually be pretty exciting. And before we begin, just wanted to mention our Gen 2 Crystal series is out, now shipping, entire iPhone 12 lineup. And first arrivals were actually today, and I was very happy to hear that people are enjoying our work. The fit and finish, the quality, actually pretty unbelievable what you get for 30 bucks in terms of quality. Very snappy and responsive buttons, just an all-around amazing clear case, and of course included Flow Lab screen protector, which is the best, one of the best on the market. And Rebel series is dropping Tuesday, maybe Wednesday next week. Very excited for that one and for the mounts coming afterwards. All right, let's get into those leaks. First exclusive for you, matte back is getting refined. So on the 2021 iPhones, I'm sure Max is referring to the Pro models, they'll have a slightly more grippy texturized back. He says it'll be slightly more comfortable, and he assumes it'll be like a soft matte, like on the Pixel series. And by the way, completely unrelated, but Apple is officially now working on titanium casings and directly referencing the iPhone in this patent, and it'll be a matte titanium if and whenever it does come out. I knew it, I called it. Now Weinbach confirms 120 Hz LTPO displays will be happening on the Pro models, and that's been corroborated by many other sources. What's new here is he's actually confirming an always-on display feature and goes on to detail it. It'll be very similar to what's already there. Very minimal customization. Think of the Apple Watch Series 5 and Series 6. So the time, the battery icon will always remain on screen. When you get a notification, just that portion of the display will be activated. Of course, to save on battery life, you have an organic LED display. Why not capitalize on that? As for any crazy features adapted to this display, Apple's not doing that. Just basically the Apple Watch version on the iPhone. Toned down icons and notifications eventually time out. And as for the design, Weinbach's source says the chassis will not be changing, so overall same look as the iPhone 12 lineup. On the inside though, the MagSafe magnets will be getting stronger. This will not affect the thickness of the device, even though Mac Takar said the thickness will be growing by 0.26 millimeters. Weinbach says he agrees with that. It's possible, but it wouldn't be because of the improved MagSafe. So MagSafe will be getting stronger. Your concerns about wallets falling off or accessories, Apple is addressing that with the 13 lineup. And as reported earlier by Weinbach, he's doubling down now on the fact that Apple is working on astrophotography. Their efforts have increased, and they want to bring this feature to the iPhone 13 lineup. And it'll basically be in automatic mode. Just point your iPhone up at the sky, and when the iPhone registers artifacts, certain artifacts such as stars or the moon, it'll switch to this mode. So nothing to press, fully integrated, and longer exposure times will be available, more internal processing with likely the Apple A15. And with many other OEMs focusing on this feature, it was only a matter of time until Apple added it, where you can actually get a clear shot of the moon. Sorry, that's not the moon, but you guys get the idea here. As for cameras, Weinbach reports that the ultra-wide will be getting the royal treatment across the entire lineup. So an improved sensor and lens. Reportedly from other sources, the lens will be going to 6-piece from 5-piece. He says it'll still be a lower quality lens than the other two on the iPhone, but Apple wants to gap it up and bring it just a little bit closer. And Weinbach reports that portrait video is finally happening. Apple has had this feature in the pipeline for quite some time. Now with the Apple A15, it will finally be possible. You'll be able to record a portrait video, by the way, no custom modes, just one portrait video mode, and then change the depth of field in post. That requires some serious processing power. And a recent report by Ming-Chi Kuo basically confirms the same thing, saying the ultra-wide is now even more likely to get those low light performance improvements. And a Barclays analyst also confirming this, saying the aperture is improving from 2.4 to 1.8 on the ultra-wide sensor on the entire iPhone 13 lineup. Also a little tidbit in that report, this is new info, the Barclays analyst says now the telephoto lens will be the same on the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. So 2.2 aperture and 65mm focal length. On the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max, there was a difference there. And an older tidbit I missed, wanted to throw this in here, Digitimes did earlier report that the wide-angle lens will be improving on the Pro models, so larger CMOS sensors from Sony. And an AirTags update from Weinbach, he's saying that software-wise, Apple has already rolled out all the features necessary for these devices to work, and a March-April release is looking very likely. And earlier today, Prosser confirmed the same thing. AirTags are looking good for March, alongside a new iPad Pro. And backtracking a little, Jon Prosser did share the final design of AirTags. I did miss that one as well. It's a little bit more bulging on the rear with the metal bit. He says that the reason Apple delayed it, or part of the reason, is because Apple was trying to figure out ways to attach this to accessories magnetically. He says it's possible that we could be charging at least one of the AirTags on the back of the iPhone. Supposedly there are two sizes releasing, and a leaked FCC filing did confirm that it's very possible that even our iPhone 12s are able to reverse charge very weakly and for a very small accessory like AirTags, but it's certainly possible. So that could be a feature that Apple enables in the future. Now, if AirTags get that reverse charge feature, will AirPods as well, that new AirPods Pro 2 or AirPods 3, and I'll have a lot more for you in our next video on that. Back to the Weinbach exclusives, he says, as for the Apple Watch Series 7, glucose monitoring, which was earlier reported happening this year, is not happening this year. It is in the works, but Apple won't make it happen in time. And a feature earlier leaked by Weinbach, mental health monitoring and warnings on the Apple Watch, that's going to happen, but no sooner than 2022. And that's it for the exclusives. Now on to the rest of the news. Fascinating piece by Quo. He's saying that Apple is aggressively seeking to add a vapor cooling chamber to the iPhone. This will essentially fix the overheating issues. In the last few years, iPhones have not been great at managing heat. This will help when the iPhone is under load to help cool the internals. It's a copper chamber with water vapor inside, which basically evaporates, and depending on the pressure, it'll move to different points of that chamber, helping cool different areas. Also very exciting, as a Tesla owner, you soon may be able to unlock your car with your iPhone, thanks to the U1 chip, something that Apple really hasn't done much with yet. But anyways, you'd be able to retrofit this little module into the Tesla, or Tesla would do it, and you'd be able to use the car key feature on your iPhone. And moving on to Prosser time, where I regurgitate what Prosser has summarized in his recent iPhone 13 video. So he believes the iPhone 13 will not be called the 13 at all, but the iPhone 12s. And as Mark Gurman did earlier allude, this is internally being considered as an S cycle. So it's very possible Apple could go back to the 12s naming or the S naming cycle. Why did they skip the 11s? He also confirms with 100% certainty 120 Hz displays are happening this year. Also, Jon Prosser confirms that yes, the notch will likely get smaller on this year's iPhones, 75% chance of that, but not how you think. There's a 60% chance, he says, that the notch will actually be getting less tall, so not less wide as we thought earlier, slightly less taller. As far as camera upgrades, Prosser confirms that the only thing he's heard is the front-facing camera will be getting reworked in order to reshape that notch. And periscope zoom, that feature we've heard about, that will not be happening this year. 2022, he says, as did other sources. And speaking of periscope zoom, Apple is actively working on this feature. A recent light folding patent did surface, detailing how they're going to make it happen. Fascinating stuff. Also, Prosser's sources tell him that the camera layout will be identical to that of the iPhone 12 lineup, which means underneath the design, the exterior design, they should be identical, but that doesn't mean that the exterior design can't be different, as we learned with the slab design leaked by Mac Takara. And as a result, he says that there's a 30% chance of the 13 and 13 mini having a LiDAR sensor because the layout would have to change to include that. I disagree. And as for a portless iPhone, will it happen this year? Prosser believes that if Apple makes it past prototyping, both Pro models would be portless, and he says there's about a 70% chance of it happening. Prototypes do exist, and if you couple this with the fact that MagSafe will be getting stronger, as Max Weinbach claims, it's very likely that portless will be happening this year. In recent videos, Prosser did confirm that Apple is testing multiple versions of in-screen Touch ID, so multiple prototypes do exist. Most recently, the Wall Street Journal corroborated an earlier report saying, yes, Apple is trying to bring Touch ID to the iPhone 13. They're testing multiple versions. the one they're likely to go with is optical fingerprint scanning. So they explain ultrasonic is the better and newer technology. It works better with wet fingers, but optical has better reliability overall, and it's cheaper. That's the one Apple is likely to go with, and then obviously make a killing selling it back to you. And Prosser gives 1 terabyte storage options a 65% chance of making it to final. He says that if they were to release it, they'd be limited to the Pro and Pro Max models. Now, there have been rumblings that the 12 mini will be canceled due to only selling 5% out of the entire lineup. John Prosser says it will survive to the iPhone 13 mini series. Apple is committed. They will lower the production likely